Hi, my name is Naomi and welcome to Journey of the Flying Pig. Today, I would like to talk about um, kind of like preparing for the inevitable, but I don't like to look at it so seriously. First of all, I am, you know how we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop? Well, the other shoe's going to drop. And so my philosophy is I don't want to spend all of my time waiting for the shoe to drop. I would much rather be able to enjoy the moment. And one of the ways in which I'm able to enjoy the moment is by having confidence in my own problem solving skills. And so, what I've decided to do today is I have one tool that I want to share and some tips. The first thing that I want to share is my tool, and it's called well, I'm calling it shoe drop bingo. Okay. And so what I ended up doing was um, this is a tool that I have given to other people when they were thinking about the what ifs. Okay. I had somebody who was going on vacation with her family, and she was thinking about all of the things that could go wrong. Well, what if this? What if that? And so I said, well, why don't you make a bingo card out of it? And then when you come back after vacation, we can talk about how many things you checked off on your bingo card. And she really got into it. And I'm sure that if she's watching this, she's going, "Oh, talking about me." Anyway, um, and she really got into it. She was very creative with it. And the whole process, we found that the whole process of making this card and thinking of all of the things that, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? She was able to actually sit back and laugh about it. Okay. And so, in order to prepare for this video, I made my own. I call it the Shoe Drops Bingo Retirement Edition. Okay. And I don't know how much, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, if it's going to look backwards. But anyway, so what I did was I sat down and I made a bingo card of the things that could possibly go wrong in my semi-retirement. So you see, I'm using this as for this. And it was interesting because even though I did it just as a show and tell for this, it did get the juices going on the different things that I might worry about or I might encounter in my semi-retirement. And one of my favorite ones is boredom, YouTube failure, loneliness, um, broken bones, which is something that, as a person who's getting a little bit older, I do have to be aware of. I'm very happy to know that my DEXA scan came back very, very positively. COVID. Do you know that I am a COVID virgin? I never, knock on wood, wait, real wood, I never um, caught COVID during the pandemic. So I feel very blessed about that. So anyway, but the thing is that what I did was I sat down and I thought about possible things that could happen. Now, this is because it's shoe drop. It is the things that would be a little bit negative. Okay. I could just as easily make a bingo card that had both positive and negative things on it. But the idea is that the making of the bingo card processes, it gives me the opportunity to process possible things that could happen. Now, so I'm a shoe drop bingo. Um, just because these are things that could possibly happen, I am not going to sit down and come up with possible solutions for every potential problem because that's a waste of my time. What I have done is and no, I'm not putting it out in the universe. What I am doing is because I've already kind of identified these are things that might happen, I can better prepare myself mentally that if something like this happens, I can deal with it. Okay. So this is the tool. My tool is making a bingo card of the things that might go that might happen. Positive, negative, whatever. Um and then I have some tips on how to prepare. Okay. I've got them written down so that I'll remember them. The first tip is to remember that it's not your first rodeo. This is not my first rodeo. A lot of the things that I have listed, i.e., boredom, are things that I've already experienced before. So if this happens again, if I get bored, okay, I survived it before. I'll survive it this time. Um, One of the things was possible you know job loss. Okay, I am semi-retired. Okay, I have survived job loss before. I am perfectly capable of finding other ways to make money if needed, or worst case scenario, if I can't find another job, I am perfectly capable of curtailing my expenses to the point that I can survive on what I get in Social Security. So, like I said, number one, not my first rodeo. Number two, we have skills because it isn't our first rodeo. We have developed a lot of bad skills. Um, I just think about all of if you ever get bored, sit down and make a list of the things that you know how to do. Um, I know how to cook. I know how to budget money. I know how to make money. I know how to I know how to call 911. You know, I these are things that I know how to do. I know how to drive. I know how to call well, I was going to say call a cab. I've never called a Lyft or an Uber. But you know what? I have the ability, I have the skill of looking these things up on Google if I need to. So think about all of the skills that you already have developed over your years of life. Mm, Number three, I have resources. Okay. Resources such as I do have money saved. I do have friends that I can call on. I do have a car that works, so I have transportation. Um, I, you know, I do have access to the internet, and thank you, God, YouTube, that has so many different videos on anything you could think of. So I do have resources. Um, Number four, I have the ability to problem solve. Um, this is something that if you don't, then actually starting to um, hone your problem solving skills is a good thing to work on. As a matter of fact, I think that I might do a video on basic problem solving because it's not something that we always learn in school. It's something that we learn from um, we learn from experience. And so I would like to share, of course, my way of doing it because, of course, I've got a different take on things. Um, Number five, I know how to breathe and to calm down, to be able to stop, take that deep breath, and focus. So that is another tip to be able to stop and think instead of just going into reaction mode. Um, Number six, and this one is like one of the ones that I think is most important, is to be able to sit back and identify what is going right. Um, in it, my to me, one of my first one of the best ways to react to anything is to stop and breathe, and then identify what's going right so that you have that foundation to work on. And those are my tips. Number one, it's not your first rodeo. Number two, you've got bad skills. So whatever's going on, you've probably got a skill for that. Number three, you do have resources. You do have a support system. You do have financial resources and transportation abilities and the internet. You're not alone. You're not, you know what, even if you were, I was about to say Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks on Castaway on a deserted island, you have skills. Remember that movie? He was able to do a lot. Anyway, you know how to problem solve. And if you don't feel that your problem solving skills are up to par, then go ahead and start working on developing them. You're able to calm yourself. You're able to not only calm yourself in the moment, but at the end, you're able to pick up the pieces of whatever happened so that you can keep going and keep living. And you always, always, always recognize what's going right, because if you're able to identify what's going right, then what's not going right is not going to be as overwhelming. Very, very important to remember. And yeah, so this one's going to be a little bit shorter. I just wanted to say that thank you for listening to the end. I appreciate it. If you like what I'm talking about and you would like to see more, definitely subscribe. It's much appreciated. Please leave comments. I'm eagerly looking for the comments because I'm new in this journey. And yeah, like it. Okay. All right. I will talk to you later. Bye.